we're going to push that number within the limit of what happens to the residual.
And I have no question that you what I'm saying is the procedure in being reviewed both from the finance committee and this board itself is what actual authorizations are authorized by the board in the final contract. And when we're going to dollar amount, those shouldn't be an item that come up in the document for approval for us when some of the preliminaries really have not been discussed to the point, because we're talking about saying that there's additional costs. I guess we went to strictly freshman law along the loans itself. On the other hand, some of the other one authorities, I think the other two, we're talking about basically just doubling up the size of those. But those costs and so on have never been discussed, and I just question the fact that I think in order for us to keep monument out in front, for us watching what is going on, they should be brought to the finance committee, an explanation of those, and then any amendment regarding the authorization of the contract, I'll be brought back to the board.
Regent Branch, we essentially kind of, I think, put down the process or incorporated the process within the document that we had the board signed, or the board approved. And we talked about how we were going to be bringing certain things to the finance committee or to the board so that we were apprising the board. I don't know if you recall, but we also essentially had an agreement on what costs would be allowed in the fees that were going to be charged by monument. And we really essentially pigeonholed the amount so that there's not a lot of room for them unless we allow it to do much more. We have an incentive built in if they can save so much money. So I think that a lot of it, until we get out the gate and we start really working on this project, assuming the push to get all the improvements that are necessary, we're going to be kind of walking our way through it and growing into the process.
And if I could just tag on, we're estimating a maximum of $16 million. We currently size the transaction at $15,640,000. That provides all of the hard costs. Construction is about $9.8 million, and furnishings of a little under $500,000, and of the architects and engineering of about $1,054,000. Some project contingency of $724,000. Soft cost of $200,000, gross receipts tax of $300,000, and then there was some developer overhead as well that we negotiated. And these numbers might not be quite right, but writing, we may not issue all $16 million. We're going to issue exactly what the Board of Regents negotiates with monument.
And there's kind of a second question. I was talking about pledged revenue. I understand what you mentioned in terms of the type of revenue. Pretty much anything other than the money that's restricted from the college will be part of that pledged revenue in case we have a problem in making payments, obviously, in the bonds and those kinds of things. But it was interesting to note, and I guess it's just a matter of information, this may even be in statute, that the definition of pledged revenue in terms of income to the college excludes our college state appropriation, which is the majority of the money that we get in our budget. Is that the way it works?
Madam President, board member, I think this is one problem that frequently comes up with bond documents. This is a very long sentence, and what this is doing is excluding, among other things, state appropriations which are restricted as to use. So in other words, if you get an appropriation that is either for general capital purposes, I don't know that the legislature would do it that way, but if you get an appropriation for student housing purposes, that would not be restricted as to use.
Remember that allocating the funds that would be our required allocation to DRNR for HED's requirements. Would that be an example? HED requires a percentage committed to DRNR
really, it's not restricted in the legal term, in the legal sense, the R&R industry, but it's, you've got to pay out a certain percentage based on whether they get it back.
And if I could just add on, we did do a calculation of this, and we had it in prior board packets, and did bring in our calculation. State law, and historically, the way we've always done it, what it really pays the debt, what is pledgeable versus what is payment. The payment source is going to be rentals from the housing units, but the coverage is provided by student tuition and fees, unrestricted revenues. The state won't let us pledge their state appropriations, period. So we don't exclude it. We probably legally could use that to pay that service if you had to. Federal grants and contracts is not included either. So it's a pretty limited pledge. We compute a coverage, and the way your coverage calculation comes out, it's about 400% of debt service. That is legally pledgeable revenues. 400, maybe even higher than that. And so as you build, and to answer Regent Branch's question, as you build capacity and you have more income coming in from residence halls and tuition as a result of more students to campus, you're going to be building the numerator, and then you're going to be able to finance more. But we do have to provide good coverage to investors to make sure that we apply for that support.